If you had told me that the most devastating day of my life would also be the beginning of my greatest blessing, I would never have believed you. But to understand that, you need to see what I see right now. Look. Just look at them. Two little girls with strawberry blonde hair, their laughter echoing through our living room as they attempt to build a pillow fort that defies all known laws of physics. This sound, this pure, unadulterated joy, is the same sound that pulled me back from the edge of despair. This is the story of how I thought I was saving my daughters, only to realize they were saving me. If you've ever felt lost, ever felt like you're failing at life, then this story is for you. Stick with me to the end, because it's a powerful reminder that our greatest miracles often come disguised as our biggest challenges. And if this resonates with you, if you believe in the power of love to rebuild a broken life, then do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Join our channel, and become part of a community that celebrates everyday heroes. The day everything shattered was a Tuesday. It was a gray, drizzly afternoon that seemed to cling to the windows of our home, mirroring the chill that had settled in my marriage. My name is Mark. I'm a simple man, a carpenter by trade, and my entire world was my 6-year-old twin daughters, Lily and Chloe. They were the living, breathing legacy of my first wife, Elena, a vibrant soul stolen by a sudden illness when the girls were just toddlers. In their eyes, I saw her every day, a bittersweet reflection of a love I thought was gone forever. I married Sarah hoping to give the girls a mother figure, a complete family. But the arguments had become more frequent, the silence between us heavier. That day, I came home early, my knuckles raw from a long day's work, my heart light with the idea of taking my girls for pizza. The house was silent, but it was a wrong silence. It was an empty silence. My eyes went straight to the kitchen table. A single sheet of notebook paper lay there, weighted down by the salt shaker. My heart hammered against my ribs as I read the words, each one a physical blow. Mark, I can't do this anymore. This life, these children, it's not what I signed up for. I'm sorry. The girls are next door at Mrs. Gable's. I read it once, twice, a dozen times. The words, these children, felt like a knife to the gut. She hadn't just left me, she had abandoned them. She had looked into their innocent, trusting faces and made a conscious decision to walk away. The pain was immediately eclipsed by a tidal wave of pure, unadulterated panic. How was I going to tell them? How was I going to do this alone? The first few weeks were a hazy, sleep-deprived nightmare of survival. Mornings were a battlefield of tangled hair, missing shoes, and spilled milk, punctuated by Lily's soft tears and Chloe's stoic, angry silence. I was constantly late for work, my mind a fog of to-do lists and a gnawing anxiety. My boss, a man of limited patience, finally sat me down. The sympathetic look in his eyes was worse than anger. He had to let me go. The drive home that day was a blur of shame and terror. How would I provide for them? How would I pay the mortgage? The house, once a home, was now a monument to my failure, a chaotic landscape of laundry, unwashed dishes, and a profound, aching loneliness that even the girls' presence couldn't fully dispel. The emotional toll on the girls was the hardest part to bear. Lily, my sensitive soul who felt everything so deeply, retreated into a shell. Her teacher called to say she had stopped speaking in class, spending recess sitting alone on a bench, staring at her shoes. Chloe, my little warrior, internalized her pain as rage. She became fiercely protective of her sister, getting into shoving matches on the playground, her small body trembling with a fury she couldn't articulate. At night, they would both crawl into my bed, their small, warm bodies seeking a comfort I felt utterly unequipped to give. I'd lie there in the dark, the weight of their need and my own inadequacy pressing down on me, the ghost of Elena a silent accusation in the room. I had promised her I would take care of them, and I was breaking that promise every single day. The turning point, the moment our everyday miracle began, wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, born from absolute rock bottom. It was a rainy afternoon, just days after I'd lost my job. I was sitting on the floor of the living room, surrounded by the chaos, the finality of my failure crashing over me. The rain drummed a funeral dirge on the roof. I was so lost in my despair that I didn't hear the soft pattering of little feet. I just felt them, two sets of small arms wrapped around my neck from either side. Lily rested her head on one shoulder, Chloe on the other. Don't be sad, Daddy, Lily whispered, her voice the first thing I'd heard her say all day that wasn't a whimper. Chloe, practical as ever, patted my back. We can help. We're a team. And so, we became one. Right there on the floor, we drafted the official family team plan. Chloe, the CEO, dictated the tasks with solemn authority. Lily, the head of art, illustrated the list with suns and smiling stick figures. I was assigned the role of head chef and head hugger. We started small. That night, we made dinner together, a lopsided, slightly burned pizza, but it was the best meal I'd ever tasted because we made it as a team. We cleaned up together, turning it into a game, seeing who could get the most bubbles on their hands. The laughter that echoed in that kitchen was a sound I hadn't realized I'd been starving for. Slowly, painstakingly, we built a new life from the ashes of the old one. I started my own small handyman business, working from the garage. The girls were my junior associates, handing me tools and supervising with intense concentration. Our weekends were no longer about trying to be a picture-perfect family, they were about us. Pancake breakfasts with blueberry smiley faces, epic library adventures, and movie nights in our ever-evolving pillow fort. I watched as Lily slowly blossomed back into her talkative, imaginative self, her confidence growing with each task she mastered. I saw Chloe's defensive anger melt away, replaced by a fierce, proud love for our unique little unit. We began to talk about Elena not with the sharp pain of fresh grief, but with the warm fondness of a cherished memory, weaving her into the fabric of our new story. The miracle was never a single, blinding moment. It was in the thousand tiny, mundane details of our life together. It was in the way Lily would carefully set the table every night, placing a dandelion she'd picked on my napkin. It was in the way Chloe would sneak into my room in the morning to make my side of the bed, even though the blankets were always lumpy. It was in the quiet pride I felt when my small business began to grow, built on word of mouth from neighbors who saw a man trying his best. We had created something resilient, something authentic. Our home was no longer just a house, it was a sanctuary, filled with more love and laughter than it had ever held before. So, as I sit here now, watching my two miracles add another precarious pillow to their masterpiece, I understand the truth. Sarah's leaving felt like an ending, a cataclysm that shattered our world. But it was actually a brutal, painful pruning. It cut away what was false, what was not meant to be, so that something stronger and more beautiful could grow in its place. I didn't save my daughters. They saved me. They saved me from my grief, from my self-doubt, and taught me that family isn't defined by its structure, but by its heart. It's about showing up, every single day, and choosing to love. If you're out there, watching this, and you're in the middle of your own storm, I'm telling you, hold on. Have faith. Your miracle might be closer than you think, maybe even waiting for you with a tool in their hand or a dandelion behind their back. Thank you for sharing this time with me and my girls. If our story brought you any hope or comfort today, please let us know by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you with us as we continue to navigate this beautiful, messy, miraculous journey called life. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm being summoned for a critical fort inspection.